Today for the National Training Center in Clearmont, Florida, the site of the FHSAA softball finals. This is a Class 3A state semifinal between the Saints of Trinity Prep High School out of Winter Park and the Cardinals of Bishop Snyder out of Jacksonville. Hello everyone, I'm Mike Rideout along with Jason Schindall. We welcome you to our third game of the day. We just wrapped up the 7A semifinal. And Jason, what a game in 7A, a game that was tied at 8 apiece, and one girl hits 2 home runs and drives in 8 on the day.
Yeah, I think we were talking about that, checking to see what the record was for most RBIs in a state final game. But yeah, great game for that young lady, and can't say too much about that.
Now here in this one, we've got the Cardinals of Bishop Snyder, the home team, with a record of 24-5. They are coached by Mike Young in his 9th year against the longtime coach. He's the dean of softball coaches, if you will, Kathy Finucane, in her 29th year for the Trinity Prep Saints, who come in with a record of 22-8. Let's give you the starting lineups for our visitors. The Saints of Trinity Prep, leading off and playing in center field, will be number 15, Katie Yergler. Batting second at third base, number 1, Josie Starling. The shortstop, number 5, Christina Marchena, bats third. The cleanup batter's the catcher, number 11, Jessie Andrews. Batting fifth at second base, number 30, Aaron Dixon. The pitcher, number 31, Sydney Carpenter, bats sixth. Batting seventh at first base, number 8, Laura Packard. Batting eighth in left field, number 9, Hannah Parker. And batting ninth, the right fielder, number 13, Brooke Davis. Your umpires for today are from the West Florida Fast Pitch Umpire Association. At first base, Ralph Brady. At third base, Michael Deming. And behind the plate, Ralph Ellingson. Meanwhile, defensively for the Cardinals, around the horn, they are the team in the red pants, the white tops. Christine Hume at third base. Andrea Neswicini at shortstop as the first pitch of the ball game is hit over to second. But Sam Hume is there on to first for the first out of the ball game. Shelby Wood at first base. Andrea Lombardi behind the plate catching. Sydney Wright is in the circle, and in the outfield left to right, Emily Knox, Natasha Kistler, and Jessica Halbert. One out as Katie Yergler grounds out to second, and that will bring up the 8th grader, the third baseman, Josie Starling.
I like her aggressiveness on the first pitch, but I like my leadoff pitcher to kind of work the pitcher a little bit and see what she's throwing so she can give the information back to the rest of my batters when she comes in. But like I said, I love the aggressiveness, jumping on it early. She looks like a hero. She gets a base hit on that one.
Josie Starling batting .329 on the season. Takes one right across the plate for a called strike. Again, Kathy Finucane, the head coach of the Trinity Prep Saints, in her 29th year. She recorded her 600th win this season. They were state runners-up in 2011, also reaching the Final Four back-to-back years in 2008, 2009, after winning the state championship in 2007. They also captured state championships under Coach Finucane in 1998 and in 2000, as that one is an up and in for a ball. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes on Starling. Starting third baseman for the Saints. 2-2 pitch, called strike 3 for the second out of the inning. So the first strike out of the game for Sydney Wright. Sydney Wright, a 5'9" junior. We'll give you her numbers on the season. And she comes in with a record of 24-5. Her 30th appearance, 29 games started this year, 170 innings pitched. How about 266 strikeouts, Jason, and 170 innings pitched?
That's really impressive. I don't care what level you're pitching at. 266 strikeouts. That's remarkable. Probably
a good reason her ERA is below 1 at .94. This is Christina Marchena, sophomore shortstop, batting with 2 outs, nobody on base. And she's quickly ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Just underway here in this Class 3A state semifinal, as the next pitch called a strike. Good pitch from Sydney Wright.
And she's finding this umpire strike zone really early, and she's already starting to work it.
The 2-1 pitch here in the top of the first inning. Swung on, kind of jammed her inside a little bit, and it's Wright making the catch, and it's a 1-2-3 inning here in the top of the first inning. So we head to the bottom of the first. Saints go quietly in the first. Bishop, Snyder, the Cardinals coming to the bat right here on the FHSAA network. Let's give you the starting lineups and the defensive alignment as well. For Bishop Snyder, 24-5 on the year, coached by Mike Young in his 9th year as the head coach. The center fielder, number 29, Natasha Kistler, will lead things off. Batting second, the shortstop, number 57, Andrea Neswicini. Batting third and pitching, number 16, Sydney Wright. The cleanup batters, number 21, first baseman Shelby Wood. Batting fifth and playing third base, number 18, Christine Hume. Batting sixth and catching, number 5, Andrea Lombardi. Batting seventh in left field, number 1, Emily Knox. The designated player bats 8. That's Ashley Neal. She wears number 15. And batting ninth, the second baseman, number 54, Sam Hume. They will face Sydney Carpenter. We'll give you her numbers here in just a moment. She wears number 31 as the Saints in the all dark blue have taken the field defensively. So going around the horn left to right, Josie Starling is at third base today. Number 5, Christina Marchina at shortstop. Number 30, Aaron Dixon at second. And number 8, Laura Packard at first. Number 11, Jesse Andrews behind the plate catching. In the outfield left to right is Hannah Parker, number 9. Number 15, Katie Yergler. And number 13, Brooke Davis over in right field. Jason Schindall just wrapped up his first year as the head coach at Olympia High School. 16-6, pretty good year for you, Coach.
Yeah, not bad. A lot of improvements still to go. Trying to rebuild the program up a little bit. We got some good freshmen coming in next year, so hopefully we'll step up our game. We didn't lose but 2 seniors this year.
Well, that's a good thing. 16 wins, and you got just about everybody coming back next year. One thing that we had in the last game, and you might be able to pick it up on our microphones, the wind right now is blowing out, but blowing out right to left. And we saw 3 home runs in that last game. 1 to straightaway center field. The other 2 were hit to left field. Natasha Kistler, the sophomore, will lead things off.
Yeah, this wind's definitely going to benefit a right-handed batter with some power.
Kistler, a USF commit, as a sophomore, leads the team in average. According to Coach Young, has the complete package. Can slap, can bunt. One of the most gifted outfielders I've ever been around that can read the ball off the bat. Understands the game, a keen awareness of what's going on. He was spoke very highly of Natasha. Just underway, bottom of the first inning. That one is laid down and picked up in foul territory by Starling. Boy, but that was close.
Yeah, I thought she got that on the line, but he's got the straight angle on it. We're looking at an angle from up here.
So the count now 2 balls and 1 strike to Kistler. Only 2 seniors in the starting lineup for Bishop Snyder. I mentioned Carpenter on the mound, or in the circle, as she delivers low and outside. Ball 3, 3-1. And there's ball 4. So a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the first inning.
That's one thing that'll drive you crazy as a coach, and giving up a leadoff walk to somebody with speed.
Shortstop, number 57, Andrea Neswicini. And here is the shortstop, Andrea Neswicini. So we take a look at the numbers for Sydney Carpenter in the circle. 22-8 on the year, 164 innings pitched, 51 walks, 285 strikeouts. So both these pitchers strike out a lot of batters. She has a 1.79 ERA, 13 shutouts on the year. Neswicini looks to sacrifice here. And that one is bunted up in the air, and it's going to be caught by the third baseman Starling in foul territory for the first out of the inning. 1 out, 1 on for Sydney Wright, the pitcher.
last night that bunting's becoming a dying art. Too many girls are popping up. Too many girls are trying to get that base hit instead of sacrificing the girls over what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. You'd like to see more players get a bunt down. A bunt's not a hard thing to do. It really comes down to focus.
It does. It does. And them understanding that they're there to sacrifice. We're willing to give them up as an out to move that runner into scoring position.
Right.
And too many times you see young girls, they try and bunt and run before they actually get the bunt down. And that'll drive you crazy as a coach.
This one's popped up, and that will be the second out of the inning. As Packard, the first baseman, comes down the line to make the catch. Kistler had gone to second on that last pitch. I don't know if it was scored a wild pitch.
No, I think she just stole it straight out.
Okay, so she'll get credit with a stolen base. She's at second, but again, there are 2 outs now for Shelby Wood, the first baseman. A little bit more about Sydney Carpenter. The screwball is her best pitch. She likes to work the corners, a very high IQ. She's got a chance to be a pretty good doctor. She is going to be studying pre-med. She's going to Emory University, a Division III school in Atlanta, Georgia.
I believe they actually come down here and play in our spring training games down here at NTC.
There's another strike, or a strike rather, to Wood at 1 ball and 1 strike the count. We need more paperweights.
Yes.
You know the wind's blowing hard when a cell phone's not enough to keep the paper in place. We are sitting outside of the press box behind home plate, but we're elevated. We're probably a good 100 feet, maybe, or more.
Or more, yeah, I'd say.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss as Carpenter gets her first strikeout, and that will end the threat here in the first inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. We have completed 1 here in Clearmont. It's Bishop Snyder nothing, Trinity Prep nothing, right here on the FHSAA network. Mike Rideout along with Jason Schindall. Thanks for tuning in wherever you may be. We've completed 2 games today. In fact, the winner of this game gets American Heritage. American Heritage was an 8-1 winner today over Kings Academy. So American Heritage will play the winner tomorrow. And there's 2 championship games on tap tomorrow. The 3A game will be played at 4:05. That will be American Heritage against the winner of this game. And then the winner of our next game in the other 7A semifinal, Bartow and Childs, is coming up next. That should be a good one. The winner of that game will play against Chamberlain, which defeated Cooper City after trailing 8-4. They rally for a 13-8 win. That game at 7:05 tomorrow night, the 7A state championship. Battling the element and the ladybugs. Or love bugs, I should say. Not ladybugs, but there's a bunch of them.
Yeah,
they're all over.
Collecting on the window seals and anybody that's wearing white right now.
All right, here now in the top of the second inning. Trinity Prep will send up batters 4, 5, and 6. Jesse Andrews will lead things off.
The catcher, number 11, Jesse
Senior.
Andrews.
And the first pitch from Sydney Wright, taken low for ball 1. Jesse Andrews batting .350 on the year, 6 doubles, 2 triples, 1 home run. And according to her head coach, an outfielder who has started since 7th grade. She moved to the catcher position in 10th grade and really has a good relationship with her starting pitcher.
You know, that's what I like about a lot of these private schools. They get the kids that come in and they can start playing at 6th grade, and they can really build a team unity and grow together for almost 6 years, to where a lot of your local schools, public schools, only have them for 4 years.
Yeah. The 3-1 pitch. Down low, ball 4. First walk issued by Sydney Wright. A couple of Sydneys going head-to-head today. Sydney Wright of the Cardinals, Cindy Carpenter of the Saints.
Let's see if he plays for the one run here and pushes the bunt down.
Second baseman, number 30, Aaron Dixon.
That'll bring up Aaron Dixon, the second baseman. Dixon, 96 plate appearances, only 5 strikeouts, so she doesn't strike out that much. She's been on a tear lately. She's been hot in the playoffs, but they're going to take the bat out of her hands so that they can sacrifice, as you mentioned, moving that runner into scoring position with 1 out.
You know, that was a perfectly executed sacrifice bunt. She squared around. She made sure the bunt was down before her feet even moved to come out of that box. I mean, that's textbook bunting right there to sacrifice a runner over.
So 1 out for the pitcher, Sydney Carpenter, who has struggled a bit offensively. Pitching is definitely her forte. And that one, well, look, I shouldn't have spoken too soon. And then the throw gets wide of Lombardi, and that will allow Carpenter to get to second. So it will be a base hit and an RBI. Andrews scores on the play, and Trinity Prep takes the first lead of the ball game, 1-0. So Carpenter in scoring position with 1 out for Laura Packard, the first baseman. And actually, we're going to have a courtesy runner for Trinity Prep. Going in to run at first base will be Lauren Cameron.
Running for Trinity Prep at second base, number 3, Lauren Cameron. Now batting the first baseman, number 8, Laura Packard.
And an opportunity here, Jason, to drive in another run with a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, and that just goes back to show you how key that sacrifice bunt was. If she doesn't get that down, she's still at first base when that hit comes through, and now you maybe have runners at first and second or first and third.
First pitch. That one missed low and inside for a ball. Regional finals taking place in baseball tonight for the right to go to Port St. Lucie for the FHSAA baseball finals.
Yeah, our boys from Olympia, ranked number 1 in the
Number
nation.
1 in the nation,
playing
yeah.
at Spruce Creek tonight at 7 o'clock.
Is that game at home, I guess?
No, it's at Spruce Creek.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Just how the brackets worked out, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
I actually have one of the parents will be over there. If we're still on the air when the game starts, about every half an inning, he's going to text me and give me an update on the game.
Nice. Swing and a miss. Good changeup. 1-2 the count. Yeah, I heard that for the first time Tuesday, that they were ranked number 1 in the country.
Right.
What, no losses or 1 loss?
No losses.
No losses. Okay.
Undefeated. Yep. Let's not jinx them.
Right, yeah. I mean, at this point, you can kind of throw out records and rankings. This one's fouled back.
Yeah, they squeaked one out against Dr. Phillips the other night. They hadn't really hit the ball. They ended up with runners in first and third with 2 outs with their number 9 batter up, and he already had 2 strikes on him, and they went ahead and put a steal on down to second base, and he threw it, and the shortstop cut it off and tried to get him at home, and the ball just went everywhere, and they scored 2 runs to win the game 2-1.
Wow.
So
Count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 run in for Trinity Prep, batting in the top of the second inning. Courtesy runner Cameron at second, but a swing and a miss. Packard is out on strike. Second strikeout of the game for Sydney Wright.
The left fielder, number 9, Hannah Parker.
So it will be up to Hannah Parker with 2 outs. Parker in left field today. First-year starter. Her hard work has paid off. And one of the nicest kids on the team, according to Coach Finucane. First pitch is a strike called. Parker bats .301 on the season, 3 doubles, 1 triple. Has driven in 11 runs this year. Swing and a miss at a high pitch inside. Wright got her to chase it. And it's now no balls and 2 strikes. Sydney Wright, we told you about the strikeouts for both Sydneys, who both strike out a lot of batters. Now Sydney Wright goes for her 3rd strikeout of the game. This time Parker laid off with the high pitch. 1-2.
Not sure if she's throwing a rise ball and they're chasing, or if she's just throwing high fastballs and they're going after, but they're definitely chasing her high heat there.
And that one, she took the velocity off of that. It's taken high for a ball, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Called strike 3, and the inning is over. But Trinity Prep strikes first with 1 run on just the 1 hit. There were no errors, a walk, and 1 left on base. So the Saints with an early 1-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the 2nd inning. Mike Rideout along with Olympia softball head coach Jason Schindall here at the National Training Center in Lake County here in Clearmont. And thank goodness the wet stuff has stayed away today.
We actually had a jinx going on, I believe it was on Wednesday. Couldn't get out of the bottom of the 1st inning.
Wow.
So we decided we were going to start playing the game, starting them in the 2nd and finish them in the 8th.
Yeah, I've kind of stayed in touch with Marty and to find out what the weather was like, and heard about all the delays. I didn't get here till today, and I hope that I'm going to miss it, although I hear Sunday and Monday we could get some rain, more so probably on Monday than Sunday.
Right.
But that's going to be a bad thing if the tournament gets pushed into Tuesday, especially since the games on Monday don't start until late in the afternoon.
Well, we have the field 3 behind us. We have
3
other fields here that we can actually use, and the maintenance guys here, Kevin heads the maintenance guys. They get these fields up as soon as the rain stops. 45 minutes, they're ready to go. These fields hold water real well. It's a great complex. Don't have anything bad to say about it. I mean, you need games done, you get them done.
Well, that's good for the sake of playing the softball game, but that's bad news for the sake of us broadcasting the softball games because of our setup. You can't just break down in 10 minutes and go set up at another field.
Right.
So we're going to keep our fingers crossed that we're able to stay on this main field. Here in the bottom of the 2nd inning, 5, 6, and 7 come to the plate for the Cardinals of Bishop Snyder. Again, 2006 2A state champion, 3A Final Four in 2008 when they lost to eventual champion American Heritage. Christine Hume, the 3rd baseman, leading things off. And foul tipped, but held on by Andrews. So that's back-to-back strikeouts for Sydney Carpenter, going back to last inning.
The catcher, number 5.
It looks like we could end up having a pitcher's duel in this game, and I think 1 run may be enough to win this game.
Yeah,
the way it's going.
I think you're right. And the last game seemed to slow down a bit. We had a lot of runs in the game, and well, first of all, we started the game 30 minutes late. That's kind of put us on it's been a domino effect as far as our schedule here today. This game was supposed to start at 5, but I think you're right. I think we're in store for a pitcher's duel, a quick game in this one, and I'm okay with that.
Definitely okay with that. And I think they have the right guy behind the plate. I've actually umpired in ASA Nationals with the gentleman behind the plate, and very good, very consistent, and he'll keep the game moving along for us.
I mentioned the player for Winter Park that's studying pre-med. Here's another one. Andrea Lombardi. She is signed with Rhodes College in Memphis, Tennessee. She wants to be a heart surgeon. Very valuable to the team's success. She's played outfield, shortstop, 3rd base. She volunteered to play catcher because they had a need. Very positive influence on the kids. Really has come into her own offensively, can do everything, slap, bunt, you name it.
And that's great. As a coach, you don't want players that are coming in anymore that just play one position. You want true athletes that are flexible, durable, and they can play anywhere you need them to, and they're willing to.
3-1 pitch misses for ball 4. So the 2nd walk issued by Sydney Carpenter. And with 1 out and 1 on, that will bring up the number 7 hitter in the order, freshman left fielder Emily Knox. So Carpenter with 2 walks and 2 strikeouts.
I'm going to say Coach Young goes ahead and puts a sacrifice down here. We're going to play for that 1 run again.
Emily Knox, very good athlete, but a little raw, as you can imagine, just a freshman. Wants to play collegiately. Good speed, surprising pop in her bat. probably more of an infielder than the outfield position that she plays, as the runner's on the move, and I don't know if they would have gotten her anyway. Stolen base for Lombardi. But Knox, because of her athleticism, is playing in the outfield.
And that's great when you can get players like that that can adjust to where you need them as a player, and not just where they think they should be playing or where they want to play.
And this one's bunted up in the air, but foul.
I think that was a smart move by Coach Young there, trying to get that girl down to third. Then anything can happen. Pass ball,
right?
Missed throw back to the pitcher, and you've got a free run.
You got another freshman on deck, so try to, as you mentioned, create more opportunities, even if you can't get it done offensively. And the throw to third. She's going to be out at third base. That's the shortstop. Marchena covering the bag, caught stealing, 2-6. They get the only runner on base for the second out of the inning, and a 1-1 count on Emily Knox.
That may hurt them later on down in the innings there. That was a tough call. It was gutsy. It was aggressive.
Yeah, because in this game where we've already talked about expecting the good pitching, base runners are going to be at a premium.
Yeah, they are. Really, nobody's gone past second base, and if they have, they've scored.
2 balls, 2 strikes, popped up. This one's going to get out of play left side and beyond the third base dugout. Bishop Snyder batting in the bottom of the second inning. They trail 1-0. Trinity Prep with a run on a hit and a walk in the top of the second. The 2-2 pitch, swung on a miss. She struck her out. Second strikeout of the inning. Third strikeout of the game for Sydney Carpenter. And that will do it for Bishop Snyder here in the bottom of the second inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, a walk, and no one left on base. We head to the top of the third inning. Our score remains Trinity Prep 1, Bishop Snyder 0 here on the FHSAA Network. Mike Rideout along with Jason Schindall, head coach at Olympia High School. And as we head to the top of the third, Trinity Prep will send the top of the lineup up to the plate. Brooke Davis, Katie Yergler, and Josie Starling, batters 9, 1, and 2 against Sydney Wright. Sydney taking her warm-up tosses now. She's already struck out 3. Sydney Carpenter has struck out 3. And yeah, you're right, Jason. I think we're headed to a pitcher's duel here today.
Yeah, and you know what? As an umpire, even as a coach, these are games you really love. If you got 2 pitchers that are dueling it out, and the defense is backing them up when they do get the ball in play, it just makes for a great game, fast game, and it really tests you as a coach of your strategies you're going to use when you do get those individual runners on, and how you can get them around and make things happen.
Just in talking to both coaches this week about their matchup, talked to Coach Finucane about the matchup against Bishop Snyder, and she referenced the starting pitcher, saying that she throws hard, good control. In fact, she said it'll be a great pitcher's duel. Stats almost identical. The team that plays best will win, according to Coach Finucane.
I think so. I think the ones who play smart, or with their base runners and with their batting and execute what they need to execute, are going to definitely take this game and walk away with it.
Brooke Davis, a freshman, playing in right field. Her first year starting. Can throw out runners, though. First to third on a base hit. Her first Final Four, so Coach Finucane says she may be a little nervous early. Kind of one of those in awe type players, as we have a player shaken up now.
I think that came off of her. I'm not sure where it hit her at, though.
Okay, she's okay. And the next pitch, taken low and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Top of the order on deck for Trinity Prep. Saints with a 1-0 lead. As that is hit over to shortstop. And that's with Chinny across the diamond in time. 6-3 on the putout. And there's one away. 3 in a row retired by Wright. And we head to the top of the order. Here's Katie Yergler, the center fielder.
Looks like she jammed her right up on the handle on that one.
Here's an interesting story about Katie Yergler. Yergler, you look at her numbers, pretty good numbers. 483 batting average, 1 double, 5 triples, 1 home run. She had an offer to Florida State, and she turned it down. She wanted to go study ministry at Wheaton College in Illinois. That's an excellent Division III team, but she really just wanted to prove to herself that she could make it to a Division I school. And then once she had that offer, she decided to go elsewhere.
You know what, Mike, a lot of these girls are starting to realize now that there's not a big pro organization out there for them, and they're using softball as a tool to get their education paid for. And it's a great tool for them to use, and sometimes they're making the right decisions of where they need to go versus where they really want to go.
You know, it's a shame we can't have softball at that next level, that professional level.
I know Dot Richardson, 96 2000 gold medalist in the Olympics, she had started up what they called a PFX tour and had a couple pro teams that traveled around to some of the amateur tournaments, and they played 2 or 3 games there, and they got to meet the pros and stuff like that. And it's one of those things you've got to market, you've got to have it out there, and you've got to have people that want to come sit in the stands for it. And for some reason, you just can't get people to come out and watch a fast pitch game, which I don't understand, because baseball is one of the slowest progressing games, and this game is so fast and so interesting.
Right. Christine Hume throws out Yergler, 5-3 on the putout. 2 outs for Josie Starling, the third baseman. Just an 8th grader. Struck out looking back in the first inning. First pitch up and in, ball 1. Starling young but athletic, very quick defensively. Was used as a courtesy runner and a designated player last year, playing as a 7th grader, but still one of those players that's a little in awe, according to Coach Finucane. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, nobody on base. Trinity Prep batting in the top of the 3rd inning. That one hit foul, third base side, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, this has got to be a lot of pressure for a 7th or 8th grader coming up in here. And I mean, this is basically the biggest stage for high school right here, coming up there. That's a lot of pressure to have on you, especially starting in the number 2 position.
Takes that one outside. 2-2. Four seniors in the starting lineup for the Saints. That's called a foul ball. Yergler, Andrews, Carpenter, and Packard are seniors.
Looks like even next year, Coach Young's going to have a strong squad. He's only losing 4 girls.
Yeah, they're seniors in the starting lineup. They're 5 and 6 hitters. Christine Hume and Andrea Lombardi. Well, another strikeout for Sydney Wright. Her 4th of the game. In the inning, no runs, no hits, no errors. A 1-2-3 inning here in the top of the 3rd. You see the line total: 1 run, 1 hit, no errors for Trinity Prep. As we head to the bottom of the 3rd, Cardinals looking for their first hit of the game. They trail 1-0. As I mentioned, one more game left today, and that's a 7A semifinal coming up tonight. Should be a good one. It will be Bartow. And don't you know, they're going to bring a lot of folks here tonight.
You know, I went back out by the umpire's room, go out there and check on some things, and I happened to see a couple tents. Matter of fact, you can look over our right shoulder, and they're actually out there now, and they're barbecuing and just doing it up out there like
That's
Bartow
awesome.
always does.
I'm not sure how many fans will make the trip from Tallahassee to see Childs play, but we know Bartow will bring a large contingent of people And the job that Glenn Rutenbar has done at Bartow, they won 5 consecutive state championships. You know, even looking with Trinity Prep here and Kathy Finucane, known as the dean of softball coaches, Rutenbar's won more games, won more championships than her.
Yeah, last year he had Bartow up here. Like we talked about, we had that 5-hour windstorm that we had, rain delay. And you were talking about the number of fans they bring. It's amazing. We were back on field 3, and they had the entire outfield covered with nothing but trucks and tents and just people out there. I'm sure if they could have had some barbecue pits going out there, they'd had those going too.
That's a great place to tailgate too. Great scenery. I like the backdrop. Got the houses in the background, cars going by from time to time. Ashley Neal, the designated player, leads things off. 8-9-1 for Bishop Snyder. Neal, a freshman. The 1-1 pitch popped up, back to the seats. And I like the fact that they've got netting this year. They didn't have it last year.
No, last year I think when we had it, we only had it up to the edge of the stadium here. And the year before that we had none. This year though, you see Bright House has cut out the, peeled the back a little bit so they can get their scissor lift in there. So we're still in a little danger spot there. If it hits hard enough, it bounces up on us.
2 balls, 2 strikes to the designated player, Ashley Neal, leading things off here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Called strike 3. Another strikeout for Sydney Carpenter. Each pitcher now with 4 strikeouts in the game.
You know, it's like every time Sydney Wright throws a strikeout, Sydney Carpenter comes back and says, well, I need to get one now too.
Number 54, Sam Hume.
Here's Sam Hume, second baseman. Takes the first pitch high and away for ball 1. One-0 pitch. It's taken low for a ball. 2-0. Hume, one of those girls that doesn't play travel ball. In fact, she wasn't going to play softball. She had other interests. But she came out, she was around the girls, they made her feel real comfortable, and she changed her mind.
And you know, that's a big thing. I mean, you get a lot of ball players that won't play high school ball, they won't play travel ball because they're not comfortable around other kids. But if they're made to feel comfortable and wanted, then they'll stay around and they'll play.
She actually started as a catcher as a freshman. That's called a strike. Very competitive kid. She played basketball. Still learning the offense, and at times tends to get a little tough on herself. But I think we're all kind of like that.
Yeah.
3-2 pitch misses for ball 4. So Sam Hume is on base via a walk, and that's the 3rd walk issued by Sydney Carpenter. So even though she has struck out 4, she has walked 3. And now top of the order comes up. Here's Natasha Kistler. First pitch up high, ball 1. Kistler walked back in the 1st inning. Kistler, a USF commit, leads the team in average, has the complete package according to her coach. Count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike on Kistler. Kistler batting .440 on the season. That's called a strike. You know, it's interesting when you see these players, sophomores, I've even known freshmen, to commit to schools that early.
I mean, if they know what they're looking for and they know what they want, I mean, and what's good about committing early is they can still back out and go where they need to go or go where they want to go. But committing at such an early age, they're already guaranteed a scholarship.
Right.
And to know that your schooling is already paid for.
It's got to take a little pressure off.
It does. It does. You just go out and do your thing, stay healthy, keep your grades up, and you know your college is paid for, and it takes a lot off of your parents too.
Here's Andrea Neswicini. Neswicini popped up to the third baseman in foul territory back in the first. She bats with 2 outs and 1 on. Another strikeout for Carpenter as she struck out Kistler. So 5 strikeouts for Carpenter. That's called a strike. And the count even now, 1 ball, 1 strike. Neswicini, a UCF commit. The double pump, and that was enough to allow her to get safe, and then now the throwing error could bring home a run. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's close, and in time.
Wow. You make a bad throw, and then all of a sudden your first baseman or your right fielder comes up and makes just a dead-on throw to your catcher.
So that will do it for the Cardinals in the third inning on a very, very close play at home. There were no runs on 1 hit, also 1 error, and 1 left on base. Hume, the sophomore, thrown out at home plate to end the inning. Wow. Very close play at the plate.
Very close.
So we head now to the top of the 4th inning with Trinity Prep still out in front. You see the line total there, 1-1-1 for Trinity Prep. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error for Bishop Snyder. And for Trinity Prep, they will send up the middle of the order. 3, 4, and 5 coming up for the Saints.
You look at these line scores, and I mean, it's saying 2 things. It's saying the pitchers are doing their job and the defense behind them is doing their job. Even with the mistakes that are made, like we just saw right there, they didn't break down. They went ahead, they picked up the ball, they made the play, and they stayed close as a unit. They didn't blame anybody. They didn't falter. They just went after what they had to do. Very well coached.
Christina Marchena will lead things off here in the top of the 4th inning. Marchena batting .361, 7 doubles, 1 triple, 1 home run. She's driven in 23 RBIs. That's second on the team. And she jumps on the first pitch, hits it sharply. Neswicini had a nice bounce, a throw to first. Good dig at first by Wood on the throw in the dirt. 6-3 for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, shortstop needs to be buying her a hot chocolate after the game.
Right. Well, maybe not a hot chocolate. It's a little warm day today, but
I know
they
got some ice cream cones down there. I'm
hey,
sure
now there
enjoy.
You go. Now you're talking. So 1 gone. Here's Jesse Andrews, the catcher. One of the seniors in the lineup. First pitch inside, called a strike, 0-1. Andrews walked and scored the only run of the game in the 2nd inning. A walk, a sac bunt, a base hit to center, then a throwing error. Although Carpenter did get credit for an RBI. Check swing, but it is a strike. She offered at it. 0-2 now to Andrews. Andrews will actually forego an opportunity to play at the next level so she can study academics at the University of Florida. She could have played, according to Coach Finucane, at the next level, but she just wants to concentrate on her studies, and I've got no problem with that at all.
And none at all. I have a lot of respect for players that have decided that their education is more important than playing a sport. Just, you know, maybe she has the academics that can take care of all that for her, and I understand playing at a D1 level, it does take a lot more to play, and your studies do falter a little bit. So I give her a lot of respect and a lot of kudos for making that decision.
Kudos also for Christine Hume. How about the little snag there at third base? 2 outs. 2 outs for Aaron Dixon. The second baseman had a sac bunt back in the 2nd inning. Got the runner in scoring position, and then Carpenter, who's on deck, drove home the run with a base hit. 1-0 Trinity Prep leading, batting in the top of the 4th inning. Seven in a row now retired by Sydney Wright. She settled down a little bit. Good change up, but a little bit high.
I didn't really think that they were a little ruffled at all. I thought they were pretty settled from the first pitch. Maybe the first inning she gave up a few extra pitches she wanted to, but she's been pretty much on the money, found the strike zone early, got her Ks early, got her pop-ups, and got her ground outs like any pitcher wants. I mean, I think she threw maybe a 6 or 7 pitch inning in the first inning, and that's a great number to start off with right there.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I'm talking like she got rattled a little bit. She's only given up 1 hit.
1 hit.
So she's pitched well. She's also struck out 4 batters. She's only walked 1. That 1 walk, though, came back to haunt her, though.
Yeah, it did, and that went right back to what we were talking about. You give up a first batter walk with anybody with any type of speed,
yeah,
and you get that sacrifice down, and all kinds of funny things are going to start happening to you, especially when you're on defense, because you start to, you know, got a runner on second base with nobody out. Anything can happen. Pass ball. Now they're at third, and
Aaron Dixon, starting second baseman, batting .295, hits this one out of play right side. Quietest person on the team, according to the coach, but as sure-handed as they come defensively. Quick to turn a double play. Very, very solid defensively, and puts the ball in play offensively. One of the toughest outs on the team, according to Coach Finucane. Swing and a miss. Sydney Wright with another strikeout, and she retires the side in order. 1, 2, 3. Wright has struck out at least 1 batter in every inning. 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and 1 here in the fourth. We head now to the bottom of the fourth. It's still 1-0 Trinity Prep. Mike Rydell along with Jason Schindall. Glad you're tuning in here to this Class 3A state semifinal. American Heritage probably back, well, they may be here. I don't know if they're here or they're back at the hotel room just relaxing, getting ready for the game tomorrow.
I've actually seen a few of them walking around in their T-shirts down here,
Okay.
So I think they're watching, seeing who they're going to be playing. I know I've seen Bartow and Childs already start showing up. Looks like they're ready to go. And at the rate we're going with this game, we may actually get back on track.
That would be great. That last game scheduled to start at 7 o'clock. And it's, well, it's 6:26, so we'll be a little bit late, but hopefully not too late.
Hopefully we won't have any more 9:30 starts.
And yeah, at least we may be done by 9:30 tonight. Because you mentioned that next game could be a pitcher's duel too.
Yes, it could.
Bishop Snyder will send up batters 3, 4, and 5 here in the bottom of the fourth inning against Sydney Carpenter. And again, Carpenter with 5 strikeouts in the game.
Leading off for the Cardinals, the pitcher, number 16, Sydney Wright.
Sydney Wright has 6, I believe.
Sydney Wright, an Arkansas commit. Sydney Wright has
5 also.
5. Oh, yep. Swung on, popped up into left field, but Parker is there. She'll make the catch for the first out of the inning. I mentioned that Sydney Wright, who just popped up, an Arkansas commit. Her sister Taylor was also a pitcher when they won the state championship in 2006. They also got them there in 2008 in the Final Four.
So it sounds like pitching comes from the family there.
Yeah.
It's in the bloodline.
Mm-hmm. First pitch to the next batter, Shelby Wood, taken high for a ball, 1-0. Wood struck out swinging back in the first inning. She's 0 for 1. Next pitch, swung on a miss, strike 2. Or strike 1, excuse me.
It's all right, I had strike 2 too.
The scoreboard says 1-1. We have 1-1 on our monitor. That one's high for a ball. The 2-1 pitch swung on, fouled back, 2-2. Shelby Wood receiving interest from North Georgia College and also Florida Gulf Coast. Florida Gulf Coast, a Division I school. They participate in the Atlantic Sun Conference. down in Fort Myers. Called strike 3. Another strikeout for Carpenter. She also has struck out at least 1 in every inning.
Yeah, this is amazing stats. I mean, they get a 33.3% strikeout rate, but every 3 batters they face, they're getting a strikeout.
Wow. So 2 outs, nobody on base for Christine Hume, the third baseman. Hume has a chance to possibly go to a low Division I school, easily a Division II school. She is, quote unquote, the glue of this team. Best hands the coach has seen. Unbelievable quick release. Offensively, a .400 hitter. Hit her first home run this year against Jacksonville Providence. She's always the first at practice, the last one to leave. You love those type of players.
Yeah, you love players like that, because especially as a senior, you get freshmen, and in their case, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders that see this, and if they have the respect to their teammates, the teammates, especially the young ones, are like, that's how I want to be when I get to where she's at, and it just builds over years, and then it just becomes a phenomenal a team that all they do is they want to practice, they want to work together, they want to play together. So
the 2-2 pitch up high, ball 3, and the count is full. Christine Hume batting .389 on the season. 4 doubles, 1 triple, 1 home run. This one will get out of play behind home plate. Two outs, nobody on base. Bishop Snyder batting in the bottom of the 4th. They picked up their first hit of the game last inning on an infield hit. And that hit sharply, but how about the shoestring catch by Starling at third base? A line out to third ends the inning here in the 4th. So a 1-2-3 inning for Sydney Carpenter and the Saints. We head to the top of the 5th inning. It's still 1-0 Trinity Prep on top of Bishop Snyder, a pitcher's duel here in Clearmont.
I know right now with a pitcher's duel, if I'm Kathy Finucane, I'm looking for that insurance run. I want one more run on the board just to make me feel a little bit more comfortable going into the last innings.
And coming up in the top of the 5th inning, Saints will send up 6, 7, and 8 as they look to get that insurance run. But it's going to be tough against Sydney Wright. As I mentioned, an Arkansas commit.
We're through 4. Your score, the Saints 1. The Cardinals 0. The winner of today's
Sydney Wright uses a lot of good pitches, both sides of the plate, up and down.
4:05 p.m.
And she's actually the most powerful hitter on the team. Yeah, she's actually one that drove in the run in the second inning there.
Academy 8-1.
I'm staying corrected. That was Sydney Carpenter.
Yeah.
That drove in that
the
run
other
in
Sydney.
The other Sydney.
Sydney Carpenter will lead things off.
I'm sure Sydney Wright would have loved to have drove in that run in the second inning.
So the two Sydneys go head-to-head now.
Yeah, that was starting to confuse me there for a minute when we were saying Sydney.
It's kind of confusing, yeah. Especially when you have two teams. We just saw a gentleman walk by, a young, probably a student there at the school, had a coat on. First of all, he's going to be hot in that thing. But on the back, a big S, and it said, I think it said Sydney's best.
I thought it said Snyder. Is that what it said, Snyder or Sydney?
It said Sydney. I thought it said Sydney. I'm going to look for that again.
Let me see if I can take a peek with the binos here.
Okay. First pitch to Sydney Carpenter, or the next pitch, rather, to Sydney Carpenter. Well, even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Sydney Carpenter 1 for 1 with an RBI. Swing and a miss. Good pitch.
It's Snyder something. I'm not sure. It starts
does it say Snyder?
Snyder's Finn or something. Not quite sure.
He was running by. I didn't get a chance. Didn't get a chance to read it. Hopefully his mom won't be too disappointed that he messed up a good coat. By the way, happy Mother's Day. I want to wish all the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day Sunday. This one's popped up, but it's going to get back to the seats, or at least above the seats on that netting.
Yeah, I'd like to say Happy Mother's Day to my mother and to my girlfriend, Kim, who's in New Jersey right now. Happy Mother's Day.
Unfortunately, I can't tell you how many Mother's Days I've missed. But, you know, to play on a Sunday is a little different. I'm not used to being out of town for Mother's Day, but, you know, actually having games on Sunday a little different.
Well, now that they went to the 8 different classifications, they needed 2 extra days.
Yeah, true.
Not really sure why we didn't do Monday, Tuesday, but hey, I'm all about playing ball, and if we can play ball on a beautiful Sunday, hopefully it's a day like today, then even better. And what better place to take your moms into the ball field and watch a great game?
Carpenter grounds out. That brings up Laura Packard, the first baseman, 0 for 1 with a strikeout. First pitch is taken low and outside for ball 1. Swing and a miss. Good changeup. Had her fooled on that one.
I'm not sure he's going to apologize to his mom. I think he needs to apologize to his dad. That might be his dad's jacket
right.
he took out of the
probably
closet over there.
Took it out of his dad's closet. Yeah. It did look a little too big for him, didn't it? The next pitch, swing and a miss. So Sydney Wright trying to continue the string of at least 1 strikeout in every inning. And she now has Laura Packard behind in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
She got her last time swinging. And she
did it again.
Yep.
Another strikeout for Wright. So 2 gone. And that'll bring up Hannah Parker, the left fielder, who also struck out. She was caught looking back in the 2nd inning. Parker bats .301, 3 doubles, 1 triple. And that hit right to the first baseman. Wood will tag the bag, 3 unassisted, a 1-2-3 inning. In fact, 3 in a row now for Sydney Wright, who has retired 11 in a row.
Yeah, there's impressive stats, and 5 out of the 11 have been strikeouts. That's impressive.
And Sydney Carpenter, while she has only retired 3 in a row, she's only given up 1 hit. Both pitchers, in fact, have only given up 1 hit, as we see our line totals there.
Yeah, this is a game as a pitching coach. If you've trained any one of these girls, this is the type of line scores you want to see right here. You don't want to see any 6, 7, 8 hits or errors, because that means the defense not supporting your pitcher. But you'd like to see a few more runs behind your pitcher, at least 2 or 3.
Cardinals have been able to get some base runners, but they've all been, well, most of them have been via the walk. 3 walks and 1 infield hit. So we mentioned earlier that base runners were going to be at a premium.
Yes.
So if they do get a runner on base, going to have to play small ball, sacrifice that runner over into scoring position. And then, you know, they always say pitching, defense, and timely hitting.
Timely hitting is the key. Yeah, I can tell you this: we lost a couple games this year because we didn't have the timely hitting. If you get your runners in position with nobody out or 1 out, you got 2 chances or 3 chances to get them over. You got to do what you got to do, and if you don't do it, then you're stranding runners, and it's costing you 1-run ball games.
Andrea Lombardi will lead things off, batting .383 with 3 doubles. 19 runs driven in this year. Mentioned this earlier. She is going to Rhodes College. She's going to play softball there. She is signed with Rhodes College of Memphis, Tennessee, to study pre-med. Wants to be a heart surgeon. She walked her first at bat and quickly is ahead 2-0 here.
I might need to go get friends with her. Hopefully I won't need her, but
right. It's always good to have a good heart surgeon,
especially one you know.
Yes. Ball 3-0. Well,
it looks like the Bartow crowd's finally coming in from their barbecue fest they had back there.
They're expecting a big crowd. It's funny though, they wear orange and blue, but they're called the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah. I haven't quite figured that one out yet.
The 3-1 pitch. That one missed for ball 4, so Lombardi walks for the second time. 4th walk issued by Sydney Carpenter. So there's your tying run to start the bottom of the 5th.
The left fielder, number 1, Emily.
There's Emily Knox, the left fielder, the freshman, struck out swinging back in the 2nd. She's 0 for 1.
I was going to wonder if Sydney Carpenter was pitching around her. She's walked her twice. Has she given up any home, or has she hit any home runs this year? But then I look and she hasn't, but she has driven in 18 runs, or 16 runs, excuse me, and that could be the problem. She's batting almost 400, and she could be a threat early on if she gets on base quick.
Timeout called. Meeting in the circle. Also a meeting over third base. Here you see the conversation taking place. Jesse Andrews, the catcher. Sydney Carpenter, the starting pitcher. And the coach.
This is where you're telling your pitcher, throw screw balls or rise balls when she squares around the bunt. And maybe we can get her to pop up and catch her off first base.
We'll see if the freshman can lay down a bunt here. Emily Knox. Very good athlete with good speed, but still a little raw offensively. A chance to sacrifice. Runner at first. And she lays down the bunt, foul. That will even things up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Bishop Snyder trying to tie the game. Trinity Prep scored their only run in the 2nd inning on a walk, a sacrifice, and a base hit. The 1-1 pitch. I think she offered at it. She did. Strike 2.
Wow, that's tough right there.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And now Knox will have to be swinging away. Emily bats .225, 1 double, 7 runs driven in. At this point, you just want to put it in play.
She did,
but
just
not
that.
pop up.
Right.
And the shortstop will make the catch. Marchena records the out, 1 away. 1 out for Ashley Neal, the designated player. Neal struck out looking back in the 3rd.
Designated player, number 15.
Carpenter still looking for the first strikeout of the inning. She's had at least 1 in every inning. 6 for the game. First pitch is high to Neal for ball 1.
She's starting to miss a lot high and outside. I wonder if she's getting a little tired. She hasn't thrown a lot of pitches, though.
Interesting story about Ashley Neal, the batter now. She has diabetes, and one of her arms is longer than the other, but according to Coach Young, doesn't allow her disability to limit her. She's come up with some huge hits this year. Good pop in the bat. In fact, she's got a violent swing. She's been a huge piece of our puzzle as a freshman, according to Coach Young.
She's got a lot. She's going to be big for this team in the next couple years.
Pops this one up, left side, down the line in short left field, and coming in, Parker will make the catch, and there's 2 away. So after a leadoff walk, the Cardinals are down to their final out of the inning. Here's Sam Hume, the number 9 hitter in the order.
Number 54.
Hume walked and was thrown out at the plate back in the 3rd. Just think about that, Jason. I mean, right now, that's the only thing that separates us from having a tie game on a very close play at home plate.
Yeah, I mean, he's had 2 runners thrown out at home. And, I'm sorry, he's had a runner thrown out at 3rd and home. And sometimes you wonder, has he run himself out of the game? But this is still a very close game. Anything can happen.
The 2-out pitch is fouled back. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, 1 on. Bishop Snyder batting in the bottom of the 5th inning. They trail 1-0. And the pitch. Called a strike. on strikes is Carpenter. So the streak continues, or out on strikes was Hume by Carpenter. The streak continues for Sydney Carpenter with at least one strikeout in every inning. In the inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, a walk, and one runner left on base. The Cardinals have stranded 3. The Saints have stranded 1. As we head now to the top of the 6th inning, 1-0. Trinity Prep still out in front here in this Class 3A state semifinal. American Heritage awaits the winner. They were a winner today by the final score of 8-1. Also this week, as we have crowned a couple of state champions so far. In Class 2A, Grandview Prep edged Pinecastle. After both teams rolled in the semifinals, Pinecastle defeated Monroe Day 11-0. Grandview Prep defeated Sheridan Hills Christian 19-2 in 3 innings. But Grandview Prep edges Pinecastle by 1 run, 6-5 in the 2A championship game.
Yeah, funny thing about that Grandview Prep semifinal game, they scored 18 runs in the first inning, and the same girl made all 3 outs in the inning.
Really?
Yeah, and I happened to be talking to the AD. He was upstairs talking to us, and he goes, "It's okay. We really didn't need her." He goes, "But she's the one that got us a game-winning hit to win the regional finals."
Okay,
so
good.
she got him here. The rest of the team picked her up during their semifinal game and
That's awesome.
carried her along, and then they come back and take it all.
Because the saying goes, you never want to make the first out or the third out of an inning. How about 1, 2, 3? Also in Class 1A, Lafayette, the Hornets defeated Jay 12-9, so they win the 1A state championship. Coming up tomorrow, our championship games in 3A and 7A. 3A is scheduled for 4:05, followed by the 7A championship tomorrow night at 7:05. This is Brooke Davis leading things off here in the top of the 6th. And then on Sunday, back to semifinal action. Beginning at noon in Class 8A, Miami Palmetto and Jupiter.
Yeah, Jupiter beat Palm Beach Gardens to put them out of the tournament. That was, I think that was a shock. They beat them twice this year, actually. They beat them in districts to take the championship, and then they beat them in the regionals to put them out.
So Jupiter gets Palmetto at noon on Mother's Day, as that's called for a strike. Sydney Wright looks to continue her streak of at least 1 inning or 1 strikeout per inning. Also on Sunday at 2 o'clock in 4A, it's Gulliver Prep out of Pinecrest against Fort Myers Bishop Faroe. And then at 5 o'clock, Keystone Heights and Florida High of Tallahassee. That's also in 4A, followed by the 8A game, Plant City Durant and Jacksonville Mandarin, 7 o'clock, Mother's Day night. And then the championship game's coming up on Monday. Called a strike.
We got 0-2.
The pitch to Davis. Swung on. Hit over to second. And Hugh throws out Davis 4-3 for the first out of the inning.
Brooks, the right fielder, I believe, that threw that throw in from right field on the pass ball from the first baseman to get the out at home. He's got one heck of an arm.
And that's the only thing that separates us from having a tie game. Top of the order, here's Katie Yergler, the center fielder. She hits this one over to second, but Hume right there, and quickly there's 2 outs in the inning.
I think if I'm Coach Finucane, I'm telling my batter to stop hitting the second baseman. She's not going to miss it at this point.
Jason, the count 14 in a row retired now by Sydney Wright.
That's what I have. Right. The only thing she's missing this inning is a strikeout.
And she has struck out Starling twice. Josie Starling, the 8th grader, bats with 2 outs, looking for the hat trick. A 1 pitch, swinging and a miss. She just blew it by her. 0-2.
I may have spoken too soon.
Yeah.
We'll see if she throws a changeup here on 0-2.
The 0-2 pitch, check swing, but called strike 3, and the inning is over. Sydney Wright strikes out Josie Starling for the 3rd time, and in so doing gets her first strikeout of the inning. So she continues her streak as well with at least 1 strikeout in every inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. And that's the 7th strikeout of the game for Sydney Wright. A pitcher's duel between Sydney Wright of the Cardinals, Sydney Carpenter of the Saints. Sydney Carpenter has also struck out 7. She also has struck out 1 in every inning. So as we head now to the bottom of the 6th inning, well, if the Cardinals are going to tie the game up, this is the inning to do it. This inning and next inning. Obviously, they're down to the final 2 innings, but they've got the top of the order coming up.
Yeah, this is where the top of the order needs to step up. They've been doing it all year. Just get that 1 runner on, get her over to second base, and then they like we've been talking. They need a timely hit, maybe even a pass ball or something to get her at third, and then maybe even squeeze her in. Just go for the tie right now at this point. You'd rather be tied and go into extra innings than to be at the end of 7 down by 1.
So leading things off will be the USF commit, Natasha Kistler, who leads the team in average.
Center fielder, number 29, Natasha Kistler.
Kistler batting .447. That's going to drop for a base hit, and there is your potential tying run. First hit of the game for Kistler, the 2nd hit of the game for the Cardinals. So let's see what Andrea Neswicini does here.
This ought to be interesting. Last at bat, she had a nice drive for a base hit. Like I said, he knows his players better than we do. Do you go for the bunt? I'd say you go for the sacrifice and move her over. But if she's been hitting well, go for the big inning.
Well, she looks to sacrifice and takes it for a ball. Actually, or was that called a strike? I think it was a strike.
Well, I guess they called it a strike.
Neswicini, a UCF commit. And she executes perfectly. Close play.
Very close play.
And nobody's at third base. And the throw not in time. Heads up base running by Kistler.
And that's why you put down your sacrifice bunts. Things happen. Left fielder was out there watching the game instead of coming in and covering down where she needed to be. That's just a big mental error right there by Trinity Prep, and it may come back to cost them.
So Sydney Wright has a chance to help herself, and she bats with 1 out and a runner at third base, and her team trailing by 1 run. First pitch is taken low for a ball. Wright 0 for 2, a pop-up to first and a pop-up into left field. One ball, no strikes, 1 out, 1 on. 1-run game. Popped up into center field. The catch is made. Here comes the throw, and she's safe at home plate. We're tied at 1. A sac fly and an RBI for Sydney Wright. So they take advantage, Jason, of the miscue, if you want to call it a miscue, but certainly a lack of focus.
Definitely a mental error, Mike.
A mental error. That I was looking for the right word.
That's something that's coached all the time. It's part of the game. You know when to get a run on first base with nobody out, and you're down by 1, or even if you're in tie ball game, you're going to bunt and get them over. Third baseman's crashing. You know your shortstop's going to second. The left fielder, their only responsibility is to cover down on third base. That's the only responsibility they have. And there was just a breakdown in communication there. I'm not sure what happened. Not sure if she was playing too deep. But she just didn't get there in time.
Hey, and give the Cardinals credit for executing.
Perfectly executed.
Top of the order comes through. Here's the cleanup batter, Shelby Wood, the junior, though, with 2 strikeouts. So a base hit, a sac bunt. But after the sac bunt, Kistler went to third because nobody was covering the bag. And then a sac fly and an RBI popped up behind home plate. This one will get out of play.
Crowd's getting a little bit bigger here now that the 7 o'clock Bartow Childs games, the fans are already here. It's starting to get pretty crowded back here.
Yeah, it really is.
cameraman down front, he's got a few new friends down there surrounding him.
Shelby Wood, the first baseman. We mentioned earlier, getting interest from Florida Gulf Coast, a Division I program in Fort Myers. Popped up, foul territory, but playable. And Parker comes in and makes a good catch. But the damage was done. The Cardinals scored for the first time today. One run on just one hit. No errors, middle error, but no errors. Yes. And no runners were left on base. So we head to the 7th, and we've got ourselves a brand new ball game. Cardinals have out-hit the Saints now 2-1. But in the most important column, one apiece. Coming up here in the top of the 7th inning, Trinity Prep will send up batters 3, 4, and 5. Christina Marchena will lead things off.
I may have spoke too soon.
You spoke, I was just thinking that, Jason. I think you spoke too soon. You said we were cruising right along, and now we're going to go about 15 innings.
Yeah, you may have jinxed us on that. I was thinking 8 or 9, but yeah, we may go 15.
That's okay. The sun is starting to set a little bit now. The wind still needs to calm down a little bit.
Once that sun goes down, that wind's going to pick up. It's going to get a little bit cooler. We may be in trouble out here without any jackets on.
Marchena today 0 for 2, a pop-up to the pitcher and a ground out to short. First pitch is called a strike. 0-1. Popped up to the shortstop. Catch is made by Neswa Chinney, and there's one away.
You know something, Mike? There hasn't been a lot of deep fly balls in this game today, and I would like to say they're not taking advantage of the wind that's going on right now, but obviously the pitchers are doing a great job keeping the ball down, making them hit into grounders, and the fly balls they are hitting, they're straight up in the air. They're not getting any distance on them.
In fact, looking at Trinity Prep, they had a base hit into center field, but everything else has been in the infield. Nothing else to the outfield.
I mean, Sydney Wright, she's done a great job. She's been keeping it down in the infield. The infield's been backing her up, making some good plays. You just can't say enough about what Bishop Sydney's doing, or Snyder's doing right now. And they came back. They've hung tough. They haven't given up. And by any means, this game is not over.
No. Right now, it's in doubt. Jesse Andrews, the catcher, batting. Coach Finucane was telling me that Jesse Andrews calls just about all the pitches.
You know, and you're starting to see that a lot more because college coaches like to see that. They like to see catchers that can control a game and don't have to look to the coach to make the calls.
Sydney Wright, though, with a strikeout. She adds to her total. That's 8 in the game. And again, at least 1 per inning for Sydney Wright. 2 gone for Erin Dixon, the junior second baseman. A sac bunt and a strikeout. The first pitch in the dirt for ball 1. One-0 pitch. It's called a ball, 2-0. Dixon, one of the toughest outs on the team. Always seems to put the ball in play. That's called a strike.
There's been some impressive pitching. I mean, Trinity Prep, their leadoff batter's only batted 3 times this game.
Yeah.
And when your leadoff batter only bats 3 times, and usually you have your top 3 or 4 up there because that gets them more at bats. But when they're only batting 3 times, it's hard to produce anything.
Well, 16 in a row retired by Sydney Wright. That'll do it.
Make it 17,
popped
maybe.
Up, and the catch is going to be made right in front of the fence. Lombardi makes the play for the third and final out.
That was just great concentration. These nets kind of angle over top of the field, and that ball was just coming right down inside the net, and she never took her eye off of it and just held right up against the net and made the play. That was a great play.
Fifth consecutive 1-2-3 inning for Sydney Wright and the Cardinals, who can win it now, Jason, here in the bottom of the seventh inning.
You know, you said that Hume hit her first home run this year as a senior. Wouldn't that be ironic and fitting for her to hit the walk-off home run right here as a leadoff batter?
Yeah, she's going to lead things off, and wow, that would be amazing for Christine Hume. Because we mentioned, you know, the great work ethic, first at practice, last to leave.
Let's see if it all pays off for her. These are times right here when you want to see that type of kid that be in this situation, come up, hit that game-winning shot, even put herself in position to be brought in. She's worked hard. She's been there probably 7 years of her softball career, high school softball career, and this is her last go-around at it. So yeah, it would be great to see her make a big shot here, make a big play.
For the first time all game, Sydney Carpenter did not strike out about her last inning when she gave up that run on just one hit. So Hume will lead things off for the Cardinals, who are 24-5 on the year, trying to get to the Class 3A state championship game again. Bishop Snyder winning it in 2006 in Class 2A. They were in the Final Four in 3A in 2008. They lost to American Heritage. American Heritage awaits the winner. Hume has struck out and lined out to the third baseman. That's called a strike.
Not sure what happened to the scoreboard there. I don't know if anybody's not using it or, oh, they just must be behind.
Now they seem to have caught up. 2-2 now. Christine Hume batting .389 on the year. 4 doubles, 1 triple, 1 home run. The pitch, 2-2 pitch, popped up and hits the top of the third base dugout. One game here in the bottom of the seventh inning. Can the Cardinals walk off with a win? Or will we be going to extra innings? Popped up, first base side. This is playable, and in foul territory, Laura Packard will make the catch. There's one away. Not so much for the drama.
So much for the drama.
Here's Andrea Lombardi. It'll probably be the freshman that'll do it, you know.
Yeah.
Knox is scheduled to hit this inning. I don't know. I have to look. Knox, she has no home run, so that makes it even more dramatic. Hey, how about this play? Good bunt, but also coming in. Yeah, brought her off the back. Starling got a good jump on the ball, fielded it cleanly, but as you mentioned, brought Packard off the bag.
I'm going to have to give an E5 on that. That was just a bad throw.
And that will be the second error of the game against the Saints. So, 1 out, 1 on for Emily Knox. And I think did he put in a runner at first base? I think we're going to have a courtesy runner for Lombardi.
No, it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter.
Actually, we're going to have a pinch hitter. Okay, you're right. Emily Knox will not bat. Instead, it will be Marissa Underhill. Underhill batting under 100 on the year, but she hasn't had a lot of at-bats this year. 22 at-bats, 2 hits.
And I think what he's doing is, if you've looked, Mike, a lot of the lefties have had more success against her, and she looks like where she's setting up, she may be a slapper, and he's trying to get the ball up in the air off this hard infield.
And that's going to allow the runner to get to second.
Or I could be wrong, she could be a bunting specialist, because she looked like she was squaring around a bunt there.
So Lombardi safe at second base in scoring position here in the bottom of the seventh inning for Marissa Underhill, the pinch hitter. That one's called a strike. Underhill, a sophomore. And she missed it with a bunt attempt there, but still alive with a 1-2 count. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. The game-winning run in scoring position at second base. The 1-2 pitch called strike 3. Big strikeout for Sydney Carpenter.
You put into the do a job. You got to swing the bat. You got to put the ball in play. I mean, even if it's just a bunt, something, dribbler, put it in play, make them make the errors. You can't stand there and watch 2 strikes go by for a 3rd strike when you put in to do a job.
Here's Ashley Neal, the designated player, the freshman, 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a pop-up into left field. Bishop Snyder. You can see right there, that's a good shot of the crowd that is filed in. I mean, a lot of them here for this game, but as you noted, the fans for the next game have also come over.
Yeah, if you panned around just right and stopped where there was the openings on the left and right hand side, it actually looked like a professional stadium as full as it is.
Yeah. Yep. Good crowd on hand. And a beautiful day too.
Oh yeah, gorgeous. Beautiful softball weather.
Conference in the circle there. There's a shot of the crowd. And it's all the way around too.
Yep.
Very windy though. The wind blowing right to left and out towards left field.
You know, and 2 innings ago, Ashley Neal, she hit one up into the left field area, and it had some distance to it.
Yeah, if you get a ball up in this wind, it's got a chance to get down for extra base, at least enough to get that run home.
Right, and they're playing her mid. She's got decent speed at second base. I mean, anything's possible right here. I definitely would be pitching her inside. I wouldn't want her driving anything to left field, left center field right now.
Neal ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. The 2-1 pitch called a strike, 2-2. Cardinals with a chance to win it here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Andrea Lombardi at second, but there are 2 outs for Ashley Neal.
I mean, how much pressure is this on a freshman?
Called strike 3. How about Carpenter coming back to strike out the next 2 batters? So we're headed to extra innings here in the bottom of the 7th inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 left on base.
Well, you did say 15, so we'll see if we get there.
I was kidding, by the way. I hope so anyway. The guys in the truck will kill me. They've been without air over there. So
that's what it says, Snyder's finest.
Snyder's finest.
He
Okay.
must have heard me. Somebody must have called him and told him that we were checking his jacket out.
Nice. Snyder's finest. I like it. And he's got the chest painted. He's got a bare, no shirt on underneath the coat. The chest is painted.
I'm sure he's making his mom proud on Mother's Day weekend.
That's right. All right, so Jason, now we go to the top of the 8th inning. Pitchers duel. Both pitchers have pitched really well.
Very well. And do we have a change of pitching here?
No, I think that's still Sydney, right?
Yeah, okay.
Sydney Wright has given up only 1 hit. Sydney Carpenter has given up only 2 hits. Wright has struck out 8. Carpenter has struck out 9. Carpenter with more walks. She's walked 4 batters. Wright has only walked 1, but the 1 walk that she issued came around to score.
And that's just like I was saying earlier. If you give a leadoff walk, you give the offensive coach too many options, too many things can happen. And about 95 to 96% of the time, that run is going to score if you give a leadoff walk.
Well, Sydney Carpenter, who drove in that run after the walk and a sacrifice. Carpenter drove in a run.
Well, here's some more irony and drama for you. What would it be if our pitcher took it yard here to support herself and then come out and shut down the next inning?
Well, let's see. Sydney Carpenter this year has no home runs.
I think she's due.
Now, Sydney Wright, on the other hand, has 8 home runs. I mentioned Sydney Wright is committed to play at Arkansas.
And we have a chance of seeing Sydney Wright next inning. Just get one batter on and we'll be able to see her.
Swung on and hit foul, third base side. Sydney Wright, or rather Sydney Carpenter, who is at the plate, has not allowed a run in the postseason, or had not allowed a run in the postseason. Had only given up 3 hits in 5 games, and she's out on strikes. Carpenter strikes out as Sydney Wright picks up another strikeout, at least one in every inning for Wright.
The first baseman, number 8, Laura.
1 out, nobody on base, and here's Laura Packard, who has struck out twice against Wright.
Does that continue? Was it 17, 18 in a row there? Is that what you said?
Let's see. Yep, 18 in a row.
18 in a row.
Laura Packard batting with nobody on base. Swing and a miss, a big cut there.
Now, right now I see these girls are taking some big cuts at these fastballs she's throwing by, and you think they're trying to swing for the fence, but right now they just need to be thinking about getting base runners on, make some things happen here.
Here's another player, Jason, as that one is swung on and missed by Packard, that could go possibly play at the next level, but she's going to the University of Alabama for academics. Her parents went there, but she's out on strikes for the 3rd time today as Wright continues to pitch well.
You know, I'm not sure if she has a lot of speed, but, you know, not everybody goes into the D1 area of arena play and plays defense all the time or hits all the time, but they always have those bench players that come off to run for the bigger athletes to get the base hits, and they need that runner to get in. So, you know, she could always walk on. She's got a full ride apparently for academics. I'm sure that they would bring her on at Alabama as a runner if she had any type of speed.
True. She's a good, she sacrifices well.
There you go. She has a specialty. She bunts. She runs well. You know, you always need those type of players on your team, and you crave to have those type of players on your team that know their job, that are there for the team, and they're not selfish about it.
This is Hannah Parker. According to Coach Finucane, catches everything hit that should be caught. Nothing flashy, but just gets the job done. A first-year starter. Hard work has paid off. One of the nicest kids on the team.
Yeah, this game is definitely starting to attract a bigger crowd as the time goes on here.
Wright trying to strike out the side for the first time today.
She's falling behind 3-0 on Parker here, though.
And she comes back with a strike. Blowing so hard. We may have to take that thing down. Called strike 2, so she comes right back after being behind in the count to work the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 8th inning here in Clearmont. Class 3A championship berth on the line. Swing and a foul ball. She got a piece of it.
That's definitely a good job by Parker. They're hanging tough, not letting the umpire make any outside pitch calls on her, not letting Sydney get any strikes called on her. and fighting everything off. 3-2 pitch. The pitcher's got to work her way back into the strike zone here. Don't chase anything high or low. Fight off what you need to and make this a good at bat.
The 3-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled back.
You know, this at-bat, if she keeps fouling these balls off, this at-bat, if we go to the 15 innings that you were predicting earlier, this at-bat could actually become a factor by the number of pitches that she's taken and that she's fouled off.
I was hoping for a little reverse psychology, saying 15 so we wouldn't go that many innings. Called strike 3. She comes back from being down in the count 3-0 with 3 straight strikes. And it's a 1-2-3 inning because Sydney Wright just struck out the side.
She's starting to impress me more and more as a pitcher right now.
11 strikeouts in the game for Sydney Wright. And that's 20 in a row retired for Wright.
Look at this group of guys down here, Mike. All of them body painted up. White shirts with blue rings around them. Looks like it spells out Bartow. They got numbers on their backs. Really, they put a lot of time into it.
Looks like baseball players.
Yeah, I think you may be right.
We'll have to try to spot those guys in the stands, and maybe next game if we don't get them this game. So here we go. Bottom of the 8th. Once again, Bishop Snyder with a chance to get a walk-off win. And they will be sending up 9-1-2 against Sydney Carpenter. Sam Hume scheduled to lead off, as Hume actually is taking a couple of practice swings, so she will bat here in the bottom of the 8th. Hume has walked and struck out. She's 0 for 1. First pitch is a strike.
Wouldn't it be ironic? We were talking about her sister hitting a home run. If she came up and hasn't hit a home run all year, and I don't know if she can try and bunt her way on.
And bunts it foul. 0-2. She'll have to be swinging away now. Sam Hume started as a catcher when she was a freshman. Very competitive kid. Played basketball.
She's moved as what, second base now?
Second base now, yep. But she's out on strikes. And that's 3 in a row for Carpenter going back to last inning.
The center fielder, number 27.
Head to the top of the order. Here's Natasha Kistler, who is 1 for 2 in the game. She scored the only run back in the 6th inning. A center fielder is a USF commit. And according to Coach Mike Young, one of the most gifted outfielders I've ever been around.
She actually scored the run last inning, or in the 6th inning too, to bring the game tied 1-1.
She led off the 6th inning with a base hit, was sacrificed to second, but then alertly took off for third because no one was covering the bag, and that made for an easy sacrifice for Sydney Wright. Swing and a miss. Kistler is out on strikes.
That's 4 in a row for Sydney.
Boy, both these pitchers seem to get better as the game progresses, don't they?
Yep. I'm wondering if a lot of this may be adrenaline. They're hyped up, they're pumped up, but both of them, neither one of them has been shaken by the one run they've given up. Not even Sydney from Bishop. She hasn't faltered the entire time. She gave up the 1 run early in the 2nd inning, and she's pitched lights out the entire time for the past 6 innings. So these kids are doing a great job.
This is Andrea Neswicini. Neswicini with one of the 2 hits today. Takes that one high for a ball, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Extra innings here in Clearmont. Swing and a miss, strike 2.
Down to the last strike this inning.
Only 3 hits combined between these two teams. It's been a great pitcher's duel between the two Sydneys. Swing and a miss. She struck her out. So what you do, I can do too. Sydney Carpenter strikes out the side here in the bottom of the 8th.
You know, Mike, in the past 2 innings, that's 5 strikeouts of the last 7 batters that she's faced.
Wow. No runs, no hits, no errors, a 1-2-3 inning. We head to the 9th inning. I was just kidding. I was about 15 innings.
Let's see if Sydney Wright can continue on with her strikeout. She struck out the side last time. Let's see if she can continue on. She's faced a 9-1-2 in their batting order right here.
Again, 20 in a row retired. Heading into the top of the 9th inning. Sydney Wright has struck out 4 of the last 5 batters. Sydney Carpenter has struck out 5 in a row. Great pitching performance today by the two Sydneys.
These guys make me laugh every time I see them right now.
I love it. We got to get a shot of these guys. The Bartow, they got the megaphones too, but they've got the pinstripe shorts. They're right in front of us here where we're broadcasting at. So they're walking around right now. They're not. I'm sure once the Bartow game gets going that we'll be able to get, catch up to them. But right now, they're just kind of walking around, so we haven't been able to locate them.
Yeah, they're right here down by the concession stand right now, hanging out. They looks like they got some female admirers taking pictures with them down here.
We'll definitely get them. If we don't get them this game, we'll get them, during the Bartow game. All right, here in the top of the 9th, it's 9-1-2 for Trinity Prep. Brooke Davis leads things off. She's 0 for 2 in the game. As that one is called a strike. That will even things up at 1-1.
I mean, you look at this. This shows you how good dominant the pitchers have been. This is only her 3rd time at bat, and we're in the 9th inning.
Yeah. Well, 4th at bat. A couple of 3 ground outs today.
I'm sorry. You're right.
Grounded out to 2nd twice and grounded out to 3rd. Yergler is a I mentioned this earlier, was an FSU commit, but decided to forego Florida State so that she could study ministry at Wheaton College, a Division III team. Wanted to play at a smaller school, and she's out on strikes here. Actually, I was looking at the top of the order. Jason, you were right. My apologies. Yergler is who I was talking about, and she now comes to the plate. You were right. Davis, that was just her 3rd at bat in the game. She had a couple of ground outs. I was getting a little bit ahead of myself, headed to the top of the order. Sorry about that.
You're trying to get us quicker to 15, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to move things along here. So now here is Yergler, who I mentioned committed to Florida State but changed her mind. Base hit, right field. A 1-out single here in the top of the 9th. First hit of the game for Yergler.
That's a big hit for her. She's basically been 0 for 3 the entire game. Now you got her on first base. She's in the leadoff position for a reason. Hopefully she's got a little bit of speed and we get her to second base with just 1 out and drive her home. This will be a great opportunity here for a hit and run maybe. Get the shortstop and second baseman pulling towards second, and get one in the hole and get her to 3rd.
But Starling today 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts.
2 of them looking.
We're in the top of the 9th inning in this Class 3A state semifinal. Good bunt, first base side, only 1 play, that's to first. Close, but in time.
She really wanted that too.
Very close play. The sacrifice moves the runner to second, but now there's 2 outs. So we talked earlier about timely hitting, and Christina Marchena is looking for her first hit today.
It's like she flew out to the pitcher and she's grounded out and flown out to the grounded out to the shortstop. Let's see if she can get one over her head right here. Maybe a line drive in the left center field and get us that run we're looking for.
Marchena, a player that does not strike out. 104 plate appearances, only 6 strikeouts. Draws a lot of walks, so she's got a good eye at the plate. Swinging and missing there, evening the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Marchena 0 for 3 with a pop-up to the pitcher, a ground out to short, and a pop-up to short. She can drive the ball as well as anyone on the team. On varsity since the 7th grade when she made All-State. Started at second base, but also played at third base as a freshman. And she hits the ball extremely hard. Just ask Coach Finucane, because she broke Coach's finger in the batting cage before the region semifinal when Coach Finucane said that she wasn't going to get a hit. She pitched to her and she broke her finger. She says she won't ever say that again.
Yeah.
She hit her first home run at home against Montverde Academy. Here comes the pitch. Oh, did she go? They check on the bases. No, she did not.
Speaking about Montverde Academy, the head coach for Montverde is one of the co-head coaches actually standing off to our left over here.
That was Ralph Brady on the bases that said no, she did not go around. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here in the top of the 9th, the 2-2 pitch. Called strike 3. She struck her out. Another strikeout for Sydney Wright. Double-digit strikeouts today. And in the inning, there were no runs on 1 hit. Their first hit since the 2nd inning. No errors, and 1 runner was left on base. So we head now to the bottom of the 9th inning, still tied at 1. And by the way, that base hit by Yergler in the top of the 9th, that stopped the streak of 21 in a row retired by Sydney Wright.
She basically retired an entire game.
Yes, you're right. We are in extra innings. Free softball here on the FHSAA network. Of course, they're free anyway, but you know, just like to say free softball.
Well, as officials, because I umpired also, this is where we say we're giving away free softball. Yeah. You don't get paid to do 9 innings or 10 innings. You get paid to do 7. That's all you're there for, 7.
Hey, a great game, though.
Oh, yeah. You got to love a game like this. Great pitching duel. The earns that have been there have been fought hard for to get. The coaches are doing a great job. They're trying to be aggressive. They're trying to make things happen. Sometimes it's happening and they're getting the 1 run. Sometimes they're getting their runners thrown out. But that's all part of the game. And we were talking about drama earlier. Here comes Sydney Wright.
She has the only RBI of the night.
Yep, the sacrifice fly to center field. Let's see if she can add to her home run total and maybe end this here and give herself a boost.
Sydney Wright with 8 home runs to lead the team. Wind is blowing right to left. Popped up, back to the seats, strike 1. Bishop Snyder, 2A state champions in 2006, 3A Final Four in 2008. Trinity Prep, state runners-up in 2011. They went to the Final Four back-to-back-to-back. Won a state championship in 2007. Also state champions in 1998 and 2000. Storied program under a Hall of Fame coach. In her 29th year, Kathy Finucane. Mike Young in his 9th year as the head coach of the Cardinals.
Yeah, I was looking up some stuff on Trinity, and they've actually had 18 appearances. They're in the top 7 for state final appearances.
And a swing and a miss. Wright is out on strikes. That's now 6 in a row.
6.
Well, we've lost our monitor up here. Hopefully that does not mean we've lost the feed. Okay, we are on the air. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. 6 strikeouts in a row for Sydney Carpenter. And here's Shelby Wood, the
Heads
first
up.
baseman. That one finally rolled over the netting and landed on the ground. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. For those of you who may have an interest, as this one is hit in the air, but too high, and it will be about medium right field. Brooke Davis will make the catch for the second out of the inning. When it first left the bat, you didn't know, because earlier today we saw some balls that didn't appear to be hit that well, but the wind really aided them.
You know, Mike, I think if that's hitting left center field, I think that ball may have had a chance to go out.
Yeah, or at least get to the gap.
Yeah, but the way the Bishop Snyder fans were reacting, that thing was hit a lot further, a lot harder than it was. We kind of have the top of the net here we're looking through, so we don't pick it up until we actually see the fielders.
Yeah. So 2 outs for Christine Hume. But for those of you who may have an interest, a score to pass along from baseball in a Class 1A game, as this one's popped up over in foul territory, but playable, and the catch is made by Hannah Parker over in foul territory. It's a 1-2-3 inning in the 9th. So we go to the top of the 10th inning, still tied at 1 apiece. 1 run, 2 hits, 2 errors for Trinity Prep. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error for Bishop Snyder. A couple of baseball scores to pass along, though. In Class 1A, Union County trying to get to their first Final Four since, I believe, 1976.
Wow.
They lead the Villages 2-0 at the end of second. All right, nice job. We got the monitor back. May have been the wind that, you know, the wind's been blowing hard today.
It's been rattling everything over here.
And then also Bishop Moore of Orlando leading Williston on the road 3-0. Thomas Wagner with a 3-run homer to left field. As I mentioned tonight, the region final for baseball. The winners of the games tonight will play in the FHSAA baseball finals coming up next week. We'll be down in Port St. Lucie. You can watch the games from, I think it's still called Digital Domain Park, the spring training home of the New York Mets. And I know with the stadiums, they change those names.
Whoever wants to sponsor and give the most money, that's who gets their name on there.
Right. All right, we're going to try to do our best to eat our mics here because it's windy. The wind is blowing at our backs. So just bear with us, folks. I know that probably some wind is going to come through, but we're doing our best to keep them as close to our mouth as possible. Here at the top of the 10th inning, Bishop Snyder goes back to work defensively behind Sydney Wright as Trinity Prep sends up 4, 5, and 6 as that ball hit over to second base. Hume throws on to first and throws out Jesse Andrews 4-3.
I think I made the comment earlier that if I was Coach Finucane, I'd tell him to stop hitting the second baseman. I don't think they've learned their lesson yet.
Right.
she's been playing perfect ball over there. I mean, great ball, keeping down on the ground balls, waiting, being patient, charging when she needs to, and making the easy, timely throws over to first base to get the outs.
All right, so 1 out, nobody on base. Here's Aaron Dixon, the second baseman. Well, nobody's getting the memo, but unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, Hume can't field that one cleanly. It's going to be an error on the second baseman.
Maybe I jinxed her. Here I was talking about how great she's been playing, and she lets that one get through. Doesn't go too far. It did cost him an out, but didn't get into the gap out there into right center field.
So 1 out, 1 on, and here's the pitcher, Sydney Carpenter. Carpenter drove in a run, the only run for Trinity Prep in the second inning.
Yep.
1-1 game here in the top of the 10th inning. Class 3A state semifinals from Clearmont. The 1-out pitch, that's there for a called strike. Sydney Carpenter batting .265 on the year. 1 double. Swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes. Carpenter 1 for 3 in the game. The 0-2 pitch fouled back.
Oh, and Cindy Wright just had her streak of 21 batters broken there.
Swung on and fouled off again. Coming up next, whenever that may be, it'll be the other 7A semifinal. Bartow, the Yellow Jackets, against the Timberwolves of Charles out of Tallahassee.
You know, I'm going to have to ask one of the Bartow fans or one of the players why they're called the Yellow Jackets, but yet they wear orange and blue like Gator colors. I haven't quite understood that yet. I know SCAD, they're the Jackets or the Bees or whatever they are, and they wear yellow and black. So,
1 out pitch. Grounded foul, first base side. No balls, 2 strikes. 1 out, 1 on. And the 0-2 pitch. Swung on, hit down the left field line, but just foul. Trinity Prep batting in the top of the 10th inning. 1-1 game. There's a look at Sydney Wright. Wright with 13 strikeouts. How about 14? Called strike 3. So 14 strikeouts, 2 outs in the inning. And here's Laura Packard, who has struck out 3 times. Swing and a miss, strike 1.
just got a text message saying that the Olympia Spruce Creek game is just now starting. So we don't have a score for them yet.
Okay. Was that a delayed for?
I'm not sure if it was delayed or if it was scheduled at 7:30 or.
I think they were all supposed to start at either 4 or 7.
Maybe in a delay. Maybe umpires didn't get there in time. Traffic. Who knows?
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. She struck her out. 15 strikeouts for Sydney Wright. And that will do it for the Saints here in the top of the 10th inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 runner left on base. So we head to the bottom of the 10th inning. Still tied at 1 apiece here in Clearmont. Mike Rideout, Jason Schindall, glad to have you aboard wherever you may be tuning in worldwide on the web. I want to wish all the mothers out there a very special Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. It's been a very windy day here at the National Training Center. But in this game, because both pitchers have kept the ball down low and plus the number of strikeouts in the game, we haven't seen that many balls hit to the outfield, giving the wind a chance to carry them out. Now in the game prior, we did. Cooper City and Chamberlain, there were 3 home runs in the game, 2 by one player who drove in 8 in the game.
Yeah, I'd still like to know if that's a state final record there, 8 runs in 1 game.
Need to get the staff at the intern working on that at the FHSAA. I'd like to know as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think 8, that's got to be up there. If not number 1, it's got to be top 3.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, going back to the game, the Grandview Prep game, their semifinal game, they scored 18 runs in 1 inning, but there was a lot of errors and unearned runs, so there wasn't a lot of RBIs per se.
Andrea Lombardi leading things off, the catcher, the senior. A couple of walks. She's also reached on an error, so she's gotten on base all 3 times she's come to the plate. Fouls the first pitch off for strike 1. The sun hasn't quite set. We still see sun over most of the field, but it won't be long. This one's popped up down the left field line in fair territory. Hannah Parker will make the catch. And there's 1 away. Here's Emily Knox. She was pinch hit for by Underhill, but now she'll come back and hit. Bishop Moore has added 2 more runs in baseball, a 5-0 lead over Williston in the 4th. Region finals taking place around the state in high school baseball for the right to go to the FHSAA baseball finals. This one's popped up, back to the seats. Look out. As that got through the little hole, the gap that we have. Most of the area behind home plate is covered.
Yeah, this usually is covered, but Bright House, because they are broadcasting the championship games, they needed a place to get their behind-the-plate camera up high so they can get the whole field, and so they opened it back up and got their scissor lift out there. And I'll tell you what, I would not envy him or want to be the man in that scissor lift tonight if he had to be up in there. This wind would just be blowing you all around. You see what our monitor is doing right here.
Yeah.
Imagine being another 25, 30 foot in the air. You just teetering.
One of the pitches was called a ball that I thought was a strike. So the 1-2 pitch misses. And the count evens now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out, nobody on base. Here in the bottom of the 10th inning. 1-1 game in the Class 3A state semifinals here in Clearmont. Swung on and hit foul over to third base side. We're gonna have to take that thing down, that monitor.
Yeah, I think so.
The 2-2 pitch, down low, ball 3.
Got a lot of the staff up here roaming around now. They're getting a little edgy and anxious. They're ready to get down there and get this field ready and get it moving. But what can you do? These girls are playing their hearts out right now. These pitchers are pitching phenomenal ball game.
I'm running out of innings on the score sheet.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, you want me to go in and make copies for us?
Right. All right, so there's ball 4 to Knox. And that will bring up Ashley Neal, the designated player. That's the first walk since the 5th. Both Sydneys have gone the distance. Sydney Carpenter for Trinity Prep, Sydney Wright for Bishop Snyder.
Yeah, you got to start wondering how much gas do they have left in the tank.
And then to know you have to, one of the pitchers going to have to come back tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, right now they're probably so pumped up they're running off adrenaline. It probably won't even affect them until tomorrow. And they do have the early game tomorrow, so the later they play, the more it's going to affect this team versus the other teams that are out there going to be playing.
That one's called a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. Now, I haven't been able to follow enough to know what's been the longest game this week, extra inning game this week.
I want to say it was the 8th.
8 inning game?
If we went 8.
Okay.
I don't think we've had 8. Okay.
All right, so we're currently the longest running game as far as innings go.
Right.
The 0-2 pitch. That one is hit down for a base hit. We'll see. This could score the run. Knox coming around. She's going to score. Bishop Snyder wins it in the bottom of the 10th inning. The freshman comes through, and she's getting mobbed by her teammates.
You know, Ashley, she hit one of the left field earlier, and it got right into the gap. Should have gotten in the gap. This one here, she got it just enough. It carried it. The outfielders couldn't get to it, and she gets a timely double. We'll give her a double on that to get the game-winning RBI. A great game by both kids, both pitchers. You know, they pitched their hearts out.
Yeah,
great job,
and
ladies.
One of those games that you hate to see either team lose. Trinity Prep, congratulations to the Saints. Their season comes to an end at 22-9, but the Cardinals of Bishop Snyder live on for one more day. Now 25-5, they will play American Heritage for the Class 3A state championship late tomorrow afternoon. So a base hit, a game-winning RBI for freshman Ashley Neal. 2-1, the final score. Bishop Snyder gets the win. You can buy a DVD of this broadcast by going to FHSAsports.com. classic pitchers duel today between Sydney Carpenter of the Saints and Sydney Wright of the Cardinals. But Bishop Snyder gets the win. For Jason Schindal, I'm Mike Rideout for our entire Play On Sports crew. 3 down, 1 to go. Coming up next, Bartow taking on Childs. We hope you come back in about 30 minutes right here on the FHSAA Network. Until then, so long for now from Clearmont.